Technology has done a lot of great things for humanity, and has succeeded in making the world feel a little more connected. But some people argue that the use of CGI on the silver screen has gotten out of control. Luckily for them, there are filmmakers out there who still insist on doing things the old-fashioned way. These are 10 amazing movie effects created without computers. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Of all the big-screen cybernetic organisms, Arnold Schwarzenegger's T-800 is probably the most iconic. Known commonly as a Terminator, the machine has been terrorizing audiences since 1984. And while there are technically a bunch of films in the franchise, 1991's Terminator 2, Judgment Day is the absolute best. A lot of the effects were created using a combination of CGI and manual efforts on set, but one of the movie's best gags actually ended up on the cutting room floor. During a scene where Sarah, Linda Hamilton, and John, Edward Furlong, are resetting the Terminator's CPU, director James Cameron utilized clever camera placement, a body double, and Linda Hamilton's twin sister to create the illusion that the procedure was all happening in a mirror. Apollo 13. Okay, seriously? Tom Hanks gets to do all the fun stuff, and after years of paying his Hollywood dues, we think he's earned it. One of the actor's most iconic roles in Apollo 13 is no exception. After their craft is damaged, the astronauts on board try desperately to get safely back to Earth. NASA plays a large part in the film, but it turns out they were also instrumental behind the scenes too. To get the zero-gravity environment just right, the association lent the production a plane. Flying in parabolic arcs, anyone on board experienced intervals of real weightlessness, and they didn't even have to leave the atmosphere. Casino Royale. Casino Royale introduced the world to a shiny new Bond. Daniel Craig had a well-tailored tuxedo to fill, and he did it in a big way. Of course, with every new Bond movie comes a host of new toys for the character to destroy. While some of the situations are wildly exaggerated, there is one moment that is 100% authentic. It wouldn't be a Bond movie if the character didn't destroy his brand new car, and Casino Royale is no different. Rather than using a CGI to simulate a crash, a real driver was behind the wheel during a scene when the Aston Martin flips multiple times. The team even used an air cannon to help the vehicle flip a few extra times. The Dark Knight. This may be Christopher Nolan's first appearance on this list, but it won't be his last. The director has been applauded for his practical filmmaking methods and seems to be deterred by nothing. No stunt is impossible. So when it came time for Batman to chase the Joker through the streets of Gotham, the team wrapped up the sequence with a big finish. That semi-flip you just saw, 100% real. Stunt driver Jim Wilkie flipped the vehicle in the middle of a real street surrounded by real buildings. At its height, the trailer was over 50 feet in the air, and thankfully, they only had to do it once. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. After making his mark as a funny man, Jim Carrey picked up a few serious roles and showed the world he wasn't just a one-trick pony. So if you're expecting his usual comedic flavor, then the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is not for you. The movie toys with the notion of memory, and one sequence chronicles how it feels to have one dream quickly transition into another. While a scene like this almost begs for the use of CGI, director Michael Gondry rejected the idea. What was happening off-screen was almost as interesting as what was on it, because both Carrey and co-star Kate Winslet were running from set to set and trying to beat the camera, old school. 2001, A Space Odyssey. Stanley Kubrick is one of the most celebrated and subversive filmmakers of all time. His movies may be divisive, but there's no denying how visually stunning they are. From A Clockwork Orange to The Shining, the director has left a permanent mark on cinema. But when film school students get together to talk shop, they always come back to 2001, A Space Odyssey, a movie that was revolutionary for its time. Odyssey utilized several techniques that wouldn't be fully developed until years later, and Kubrick noticed that rotating the set around a fixed camera created a pretty cool effect, one that was used over and over after the movie's release. Inception. Christopher Nolan is back, and this time, he's breaking one of the Earth's oldest laws: gravity. Each dream world has its own beautiful aesthetic, but when the drop kicks in on level 2, everything in the environment becomes weightless. Audiences watch as Joseph Gordon-Levitt scrambles to secure the team and gets in a pretty cool fight along the way. Filmmakers built the entire set encased in a grouping of 8 rings, which rotated as the camera stayed fixed. But wait, we hear you cry, didn't Kubrick do the exact same thing in 2001: A Space Odyssey? Well, the answer is yes, but Kubrick didn't make it look this good. Jurassic Park. In the earlier half of his career, Steven Spielberg had a thing for animatronics. It's becoming increasingly rare to see mechanical creatures on set. They can stop functioning, break, and cause a collective migraine for everyone involved. Case in point, Jurassic Park's Tyrannosaurus Rex. The dinosaur was made by Stan Winston's studio and was fully mechanical. You don't have to be a mechanic to understand that rain plus robot equals disaster. As a result, the giant dino would randomly turn itself on and roar at the crew, which, understandably, scared the shit out of anyone nearby. The Lord of the Rings. Perspective is an interesting thing, and is the reason a skilled filmmaker like Peter Jackson can manipulate your eyes into believing adults are Hobbit-sized. While the films give audiences a lot to look at, the biggest trick is right in front of your face. Using specially engineered set pieces and clever camera placement, the director created the illusion that the hobbits are physically smaller than everyone else. If that seems like a lot of unnecessary work, consider that using CGI to shrink the actors in every frame would be even more tedious. The Dark Knight Rises. You know what? Christopher Nolan is a modern filmmaker with old-school sensibilities, and we can't help it if he's responsible for multiple legendary non-CG stunts, okay? In the final film in his Batman trilogy, Big Bad Bane executes a heist that results in a plane dropping from the sky. After hearing what we've already told you, you might not be surprised to find out that Nolan really did make a plane drop from the sky. On top of that, he did it quickly, and a shot that was supposed to take 5 days was delivered in 2. So what do you think of our list? Did we miss any other awesome non-CGI movie effects? Tell us about them in the comments, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this one.